Good afternoon, everyone. School officials say children in danger this Monday, despite the revelation that dangerous asbestos conditions exist in public schools across New York City. Channel 2's Cindy Hsu is outside one such school, PS 173 in Washington Heights. Cindy, what's the latest?
Well, PS 173 is one of the schools that might have an asbestos problem. There are nearly 40 schools in Manhattan, the Bronx, Brooklyn, and Queens that are considered hot spots for this cancer-causing fiber. Now, over the weekend, investigators went into all these different schools, and they closed off any sections of those buildings that might be dangerous. The kids are still piling into summer school, despite certain rooms getting closed off due to possible asbestos problems. None of the parents we talked to had any idea they were sending their kids to one of the schools that landed on the list of high-risk buildings. Trina Sanchez practically interrogated one of the summer camp counselors before she'd let her son into the school.
There's 2 rooms up on the bathroom which they closed for. Well, I don't think you should have the kids up there. I mean, if it's on the 5th floor, then you know it's on the... Well, apparently where it is like some peeling paint in the rooms. I haven't been up there yet. I will go up there before, you know, the kids go in.
For Maria Monegro's son, Brandon, it's the last day of summer school. But when she heard about the asbestos inspection, she took her son home immediately.
I don't want my son to get sick. No place. If he has to get sick, he could get sick at my house.
There have been no reports of anyone getting sick from asbestos in these schools, but the Board of Education isn't taking any chances. Inspectors were in and out of 39 schools this weekend looking for any signs of asbestos. Now, there's no danger if the asbestos is sealed behind a wall, but once it's exposed, you've got a problem, because asbestos floating around in the air can cause cancer. The scramble to inspect New York City's schools started on Friday when a report was released exposing the botched-up asbestos screening. The report was done by the Board of Education, and it points a finger at EnviroSafe, the company hired to inspect all the city schools for asbestos. The report basically blames the company for faulty inspections done by unqualified workers. So the Board of Education had to play catch-up this weekend by re-inspecting all the schools that had summer school classes. As for the kids, they're having mixed reactions to the news.
It's normal. I mean, you don't see nothing wrong with the room in there, so I'm not worried. But maybe the school is dangerous for the kids, so I'm a little bit scared for kids. A lot of kids go to these schools and they might get hurt or something, so I think they're doing a good job on that. But I used to come to the school, and I'm glad that I'm not here now, because with all the problems going on now.
Now, I have to emphasize that the 1,000 rooms that have been closed off do not necessarily have asbestos in them. These are just high-risk rooms. Tests from those tests are expected back today. Now, as for EnviroSafe, the company that was initially blamed for the big botch-up, a spokesman from that company tells us that they really have been misrepresented in this whole thing. They say they held an advisory role. It was really not hands-on. However, a special investigator from the Board of Education has a different story. He says that EnviroSafe trained all these inspectors that went out, and actually some of the asbestos testing did go on in EnviroSafe laboratories. Now, if you have any questions, the city has set up this hotline number, and that number is 718-472-1705. I'm Cindy Hsu reporting live from Washington Heights. Back to you in the studio.
All right, Cindy, thank you. Police are looking for a gunman who killed a Manhattan man for his bike while the victim's niece looked on in horror. 45-year-old Cisco Marta and his 16-year-old niece were bicycling near 129th Street in Lexington yesterday when a gunman stopped them. Police say the man demanded Marta's bike and then shot and killed him. The gunman fled without the bike. The girl was not hurt. And the international manhunt for a Manhattan firebombing suspect is over. 20-year-old Jesus Corporon is charged with arson and attempted murder. He was arrested in the Dominican Republic and returned to New York yesterday. Corporon was on the lam since last month when he allegedly threw a firebomb into a fire truck in Manhattan. 2 firefighters were critically injured. The reward is now up to $30,000 for information about the serial killer who may be stalking and murdering gay men in our area. Rockland County authorities believe they found the rest of the remains of a man who may have been the victim of a gay stalker. Michael Sakara Jr.'s head and arms were found in a trash can off Route 9 West July 31st. Last night, authorities discovered decomposed body parts in 4 plastic bags on an embankment off 9 West, and a medical examiner will determine if the remains are also Sakara's. Authorities believe his murder may be linked with the dismemberment slayings of 4 other gay men whose body parts turned up in 2 states. The man who fathered a surrogate baby had to answer to defense attorneys this morning in a Long Island courtroom. In court on Friday, Joseph Kaplan detailed how he and 25-year-old Susan Chamberlain went to hotels to have sex to get her pregnant. Well, today, Chamberlain's attorney verbally attacked Kaplan and his wife, saying that they are not the loving, financially secure family they're leading everyone to believe. The two sides are now vying for custody of the now 2-month-old baby. And at a Florida courthouse, testimony resumed this morning in the case of Kimberly Mays, the child who was switched at birth. She wants to cut all ties from her birth parents and stay with Robert Mays, the man she's known all her life as Daddy. Fighting Kimberly are Ernest and Regina Twigg, who want the court to at least give them visiting rights. A court-appointed psychologist has testified that Mrs. Twigg has psychological problems which cause her to put her own needs ahead of Kimberly's. Well, her name is Heidi Fleiss, and she is the daughter of a prominent California doctor. But officials also say she is the infamous Hollywood madam whose little black book allegedly contains names of some of Tinseltown's most powerful men. At this hour, Heidi is in a Los Angeles courtroom for an arraignment on pandering and drug charges, and WCBS reporter Harvey Levin brings us up to date now on this much talked about case. What's going on today, Harvey?
Well, Michelle, welcome to Hollywood. That's pretty much what this town is about these days. This story has everyone in this town riveted in a way that I haven't seen in a long, long time. Heidi Fleiss is 27 years old. She is being arraigned on 5 counts of pandering, 1 count of transporting drugs. Now, we have a live shot of the courtroom right now where Heidi Fleiss will be arraigned shortly on those charges. The courtroom is packed with reporters and the spectators that they will allow in. There is certainly a much longer line outside of disappointed people who want to hear everything. The fact is, very little will happen at this arraignment today. She will simply enter her plea, that's the probability, and that will be it. They may discuss the bail. She's out at $100,000 right now.
Now in Hollywood, how big are these names in the black book, and will she reveal any of them?
She said last week that she might sell it for $1 million, that black book, and that is indeed the brass ring that people want to know about. But then she told the Los Angeles Times a few days ago that she said that in a moment of anger, that she really doesn't have any intention of divulging who these people are. I think it's unlikely that the name...
Okay, Harvey Levin, thank you.
Apparently
We're having some audio problems, and we apologize for that. We'll try to get back to you later, Harvey, for more on the Heidi Fleiss story. Well, we still have a lot more news still to come on this Monday afternoon, August 9th. Coming up next, the latest on the deaths of 4 Americans in Somalia, an update on the mudslides in Venezuela, and the Pope begins the journey that will take him to America. Stay with us.
Channel 2 News is sponsored by Thomas's English Muffins.
We've got a saying at Thomas's English Muffins. There's a baker behind every nook and cranny. Well, that's me. And I've been proud for a lot of years now to make sure people are getting English muffins that toast up golden brown and that are baked like Mr. Thomas baked them over 100 years ago in England. Now that's a muffin.
Thomas's English Muffins. There's a baker behind every nook and cranny.
The U.S. is considering how to respond to an ambush that killed 4 American soldiers in Somalia. They died when their vehicle was blown up, apparently by a remote-controlled landmine. The U.S. is blaming fugitive Somali warlord Mohammed Aidid. There were several more attacks on UN troops overnight, but no casualties. And in Sarajevo this morning, a desperate rescue. A dying 5-year-old Muslim girl is being flown out of Bosnia to Britain for emergency medical treatment. The girl was critically injured in a Serbian mortar attack that killed her mother. The British government provided an aircraft to evacuate her. Also today, Serb forces have promised to give up strategic positions around Sarajevo, but the expected withdrawal is going very slowly. 150 people in Venezuela are now confirmed dead after the tropical storm that touched off catastrophic mudslides in towns around Caracas. We get the very latest now from CBS correspondent Diana Gonzalez.
Bodies lined the sidewalks of Venezuela's capital city. It was here that relatives came to identify the dead. Tropical storm Brett claimed scores of lives in Caracas. The slum areas were hardest hit by the 50-mile-an-hour winds and heavy rains. Shacks that lined the hillsides came tumbling down as the drenched earth gave way. At least 300 are injured and thousands are homeless. Workers are trying to restore electrical power and phone service. While the rains have now subsided, the River Guaire is overflowing. Pounding surf along Venezuela's Caribbean coastline forced the cancellation of ferries to the resort island of Margarita, but no major damage was reported there. The devastation was centered around El Valle and other poor neighborhoods surrounding Caracas. Rescue teams are digging through the mud, trying to find a number of people who are still missing and believed to be buried under the earth and debris. Diana Gonzalez, CBS News, Miami.
The Pacific island of Guam is without power today after being hit by one of the most powerful earthquakes of the century. The quake yesterday measured as high as 8.2 on the Richter scale. Many buildings were destroyed, but amazingly, it seems no one was killed. Power was restored yesterday, but a generator problem knocked it out again. Pope John Paul II is airborne at this hour, heading to Jamaica, the first stop on a trip that will bring him to America. In his Sunday sermon yesterday, the Pope said his visit will focus on peace and life, especially the abortion issue. That's on the agenda for the Pope's first ever meeting with President Clinton in Denver later this week. The Pope plans a 4-day stay in Colorado to celebrate the Catholic Church's World Youth Day. When we continue after a break, an update on the condition of a soap opera star injured in a hang gliding accident. But first, the twins who will share different birthdays in different months.
The genius behind very ventures.
Listen, folks. Watch, folks. The Secrets of Summer contest is unfolding, and so is your chance to win. Listen to Jim Kerr and the Morning Crew on Mix 105 WMXV for the secret clue. Then watch Guiding Light on Channel 2 at 3 p.m. for the answer. Win a day of beauty and the chance for a walk-on role on the show that's captivating daytime.
Quick.
Turn on the light.
And win.
On Mix 105 WMXV and Channel 2.
1-800-DENTIST. Can you help me find a dentist for my family? I sure can. Okay, but tell me, what's so special about the dentists on your service? Well, they're all private practice dentists, and we refer thousands of patients to them every month, so we have a lot of confidence in their work. Can you tell me something about their background? I have a full profile on each of them. Education, office hours, special services. Who do you have in the downtown area? There I have
Call 1-800-DENTIST today.
Oh, they've arrested our son. They said it was very serious and we should get a lawyer. At first, I didn't think to call Jacoby and Myers.
Why?
Oh, well, I've known about your law firm for years, but didn't know that some of your lawyers are actually criminal lawyers. Look, our son is in trouble, and we're going to help him. We don't have a lot of money, but that doesn't mean he shouldn't have a good criminal lawyer.
A new mom and dad from Morristown, New Jersey are counting their blessings ×2 this noon, and they've made history doing it. They have a brand new set of twins, Spencer and Whitley Horn, but the babies were not born on the same day or even on the same month. Their mom, Jerry Horn, delivered Spencer back on July 14th. Little brother Whitley came along 19 days later on August 2nd. A doctor delayed the delivery because the babies were premature, but both are doing well. Well, we want to update you this noon on the condition of Guiding Light actor Leonard Stabb, who was hurt last weekend in a hang gliding accident. Meredith Berlin of Soap Opera Digest joins us now with that story and the rest of the news from daytime soaps. A lot of prayers out there.
A lot of prayers, yes. Unfortunately, nothing really has changed. Leonard Stabb, the 29-year-old actor who plays Hart Jessup on Guiding Light, is still listed in critical condition at Westchester County Medical Center after a hang gliding accident. Now, Guiding Light has temporarily cast his role with Sean McDermott. This is his first time on soaps. And a post office box has been set up for anyone wanting to send get well wishes to Leonard Stabb. That's P.O. Box 2041, Murray Hill Station, New York, New York, 10156. Also on Guiding Light, the role of Lucy Cooper has been cast. Sonia Satra, whose television credits include Bonanza, The Legends of Ponderosa, will be playing the character who's described as a young Spitfire. First air date, September 14th. Lucy is Buzz Cooper's daughter. And Robert Newman, who played Josh Lewis on the show, is coming back, begins early September. He's come back to the show for Dylan and Julie's wedding, set right now for only 2 weeks. However, Jill Farron Phelps, the executive producer, says she hopes she can coax him into staying much longer. And Scott Bryce, who played the popular Craig Montgomery on As the World Turns throughout the 80s, will be coming back to the show this fall. He brings with him this time a big secret. Some sad news, Bernie Barrow, who played Louie on Loving and John Ryan on Ryan's Hope, died this past Tuesday after a bout of lung cancer. He was 65 years old. Barrow won the 1991 Emmy Award for Best Supporting Actress. And some good news. Carrie Mitchum, that's not Carrie, and her husband, Casper Van Dien, are expecting a baby boy in September. And Kimberlyn Brown, who plays Sheila on Bold and Beautiful, the big baby stealer, is also pregnant.
Kimberlyn obviously wanted more airtime.
That's right, that's right.
Longer. She's one of my favorites. It'll be interesting to see what happens with the storyline.
We hope they make her pregnant and not hide her behind a bunch of potted plums.
Okay, Meredith, thanks for being with us. Craig Allen will join us after a break with details on our weather, plus an inside look at Buckingham Palace. Stay tuned.
They sacrificed the best years of their lives to make a more beautiful America. Now it's our turn to help. Join the Latino Gerontological Center. Call 212-517-1760.
On the next Jane Whitney Show.
They're screaming at each other constantly.
We all know them. It's been horrid.
We don't make love.
Couples who never stop fighting.
Bruce has a short wick, and Monica's got a big mouth.
Are their marriages doomed?
Do you love her?
Yes, I do.
This is about the inability to fight fair.
Good news for quarreling couples.
Fighting couples can keep a marriage going.
On the next Jane Whitney Show.
Tomorrow morning at 9 on Channel 2.
This is Roseanne Coletti. The Troubleshooter hotline is closed for the month of August. If you have a problem for the Troubleshooter, you can dial our summer number instead, 212-975-6925.
A picture, a gesture, a rhyme, a turn. Express, relate, and learn. Art for every kid, not just a few. Art for everything, for me and you. Art, communication, art, a brighter nation. Art in education, art for every kid. Call 1-800-THE-ART.
New Jersey 101.5 FM radio.
New Jersey 101.5? That's my FM radio station. It's not easy to trust the politicians. New Jersey 101.5 tells the truth about our state's government. And finally, I get to talk on the radio about my taxes, my kids' school, my job, my life in New Jersey.
Finally, our own radio station, New Jersey 101.5.
Police say she's the Hollywood madam who got caught. Now she's heading for court, and we've got Hollywood's Little Black Book on hard copy.
Tonight at 7.
Time now to update you on our top stories this Monday noon. Nearly 40 New York City summer schools opened as usual today in the wake of reports that dangerous asbestos contamination is found in public schools throughout the city. Officials assured parents their children would not be allowed in contaminated areas. And in fact, many classrooms were closed off during inspections over the weekend. And the so-called Hollywood madam is in a Los Angeles courtroom at this hour. Heidi Fleiss allegedly ran a high-priced prostitution ring that served high-profile celebrities, directors, and entertainment executives. She's being arraigned on pandering and drug charges. And the pilot whale rescued from beaching in the Long Island Sound is taking a turn for the worse now. Authorities at the New York Aquarium on Coney Island say it's now having trouble swimming, and experts say that's a sign that its health is deteriorating. Veterinarians are still waiting for test results to determine what illness the whale is suffering from. Craig
too
Allen's
bad.
here now. It's really
Yeah.
too bad. Yeah, we all got so attached to Wilhelmina.
Right, for the whole story, sure.
Maybe she'll pull through. Got any good news for us?
Some, a little bit. You know, it rained over the weekend, and it was just a little bit of rain, and it helped New Jersey out a little bit because nobody else got as much rain as you did in the Garden State. Let's take a look at our readings right now. 74 degrees currently in Central Park with a relative humidity at 76%. You feel how sticky it is outside right now. The wind is coming out of the south at about 6 miles per hour, and we have partly cloudy skies, a little sunshine breaking through right now. Let's take a look and see that rainfall totals across the area. Well, the reservoirs, first of all. You can see that we are well below normal, and why is that? That's because we haven't received half as much rain as we're supposed to. We're 6 inches down already since the start of May. And the reason for this is on radar, as you can see. Is there anything coming along? Nope, not much there to see at the present time. And basically what we have now, if we take a look at the broad view across the country, there is a lot of rainfall now in the center of the nation. Again, would you believe it? Iowa, parts of Missouri, Kansas, and some of these thunderstorms to about 50,000 feet. We also have rainfall down to the south, out there across the Carolinas, but basically what that's going to do is move right on out to sea. You can see, right on out. This here, forget it, that's not going to get here for a while. We also have some other good news. You know, Michelle did the story a little bit earlier concerning Tropical Storm Brett. This is what's left now. We're taking a look at the South Atlantic, and what Brett is now down to a tropical depression. And as long as he's a depression, it looks like he's going to stay as a nice, small, weak storm. The winds are only about 35 miles per hour now. So the forecast for today, we're going up into the mid-80s, low to mid-80s, some sunshine breaking through the clouds. Rather muggy, though, and you'll feel that tonight as well as temperatures drop down into the 60s, but the humidity will be high, so that fog will start to roll in during the night. And your 5-day forecast, we're up to about 85 during the day tomorrow, 86 for Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, and Saturday, warm and muggy. There could be a thunderstorm anytime through that period. You know, not a whole rain out like we need, but just a scattered thunderstorm like this summer has brought us most of the time.
All right. Thank you, Craig. Buckingham Palace is getting mixed reviews for its debut weekend of public tours. The royal showing drew thousands fewer people than expected, but as CBS News correspondent Martha Teichner reports, the event was still a moneymaker.
This morning, the line, or rather in English, the queue is inching toward the ticket booth. Possibly good news for would-be visitors. The first day of Buckingham Palace tours, Saturday, only half the 8,000 people expected showed up.
Well, yesterday we heard on the news that it was going to be, like, the lines weren't that long, so we didn't think it was going to be this bad in the morning.
But already after just one weekend open to the public, Buckingham Palace is being trashed by the tabloids. Britain's press has taken aim. Tacky is the word. In all its golden splendor, the palace is being accused of having a guilt complex. Get it? And how about this? For $12, tourists see only 18 out of 661 rooms and can't use any of the 78 bathrooms. Even the most constructive of the criticism has been barbed. For example, that by not showing anything personal, not even a photograph, the royals have missed a public relations opportunity, the chance to give people a favorable glimpse of a family that needs all the help it can get. In fact, delays caused by thorough security checks are a problem. And without a guidebook and a list of artworks, there's no way of figuring out what's what.
We're open for 8 weeks. Give us time to settle down. Give the whole thing time to settle down.
So far, the public has had the opposite reaction to the British press. A definite thumbs up.
So many couches and everything, like gold and all good colors and everything. We'll be dreaming about it for at least a month.
Tourists especially like the souvenirs the tabloids say are tasteless. But the absolute must-have item out of the gift shop is, yes, the palace paper bag. Martha Teichner.
Nest your first mortgage, or pay off a high-rate second mortgage, or maybe purchase a new home?